Okay, so just for those who are just joining us on this recording, welcome. We've just done our check-in, and there's a huge amount of gratitude and aliveness here for the women who are presenting, who've just shared with us what they are working on for their presentations, for their sessions. And I do acknowledge that I just saw that message in the chat, thank you, about Irene's gratitude. So can we come back to you, Irene, because we all shared a gratitude and we would love to hear yours.
Oh, okay, thank you. Right now I'm really grateful for the garden that is here, and the trees, and because we've had lots of birds, and beautiful little birds are now starting to come in the garden out the front. And I'm just grateful for nature, I guess, and what it provides for us in terms of abundance, fruit and veggies, but also the beauty of nature. Thank you.
Gosh, beautiful. Thank you. So as I settle into my being, because there's this fine line between being so excited and delighted that we're all here together that everything that I thought I was going to do for the session just evaporates and I can't remember, why are we here? What are we doing? It's just the joy bubbles up and over. I think what is present for me first is to just acknowledge that this practice that we've just had of introducing ourselves, our session, and where we're coming in from is something I'd love for us to do as a practice during the retreat, and including the gratitude. So if we are, I'm imagining for the opening circle that I might call on a couple of people to just give a check-in, because there'll be a number of us. I'm guessing we won't get to hear everyone's voices, but I would love to just, if you're willing, to help hold that introduction so we can hear some voices saying where we're coming in from and what our session is and what we're grateful for. And I did want to name that the gratitude piece is really precious to me as a expression of well-being. My session in the retreat, I'm drilling down into something about well-being. I think my puppies are going to have a go. What a shame. I'll see what I can get completed. That the well-being session is, hang on one sec, let me give them a hoy. I can hear another puppy barking in the distance too. I've got one puppy here wants to play now. Okay, one sec. What I'd love to do, since I'm going to struggle here for a minute, is ask. Oh, I'm getting support. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Jet. Would you be willing to take Lewis with you? He's having a good bark attack.
I'm a saint.
You are. Come here, little puppy.
Come here, boy.
Thanks. Okay, presents. Yeah, so the session that I'm offering is about well-being. And I did some research a couple of years ago, and I discovered that the 4 components of well-being are gratitude, generosity, contemplation, and compassion. And that mental health wise, all the neuroscience says, and all the research in all the different areas of how does well-being actually work in the brain, gratitude and generosity and contemplation and compassion are the 4 practices for cultivating that state in the being. So actually, as I hear all of your gratitudes, my aliveness lifts. I don't know if that's an experience that you have the same sense of, but it's a really palpable experience when I hear all of your gratitudes. So I'm just naming it as a little bit deeper into the why I'm so committed that we check in with our gratitudes. I do have a sense that as a community, we're contributing to each other's well-being. Not only because of the beautiful offerings that we're bringing and contributing to each other with our passions and with our precious work, but that we're also bringing our energy. Behind all of that beautiful offering, we're bringing our precious attention and our energy for each other. So that's a little bit more about my why. There's also a massive celebration here about the program and how it's shaping up. I just really want to acknowledge each of you for your attendance, for your care, for your lovingly bringing, and to remind everybody that we're a community of practice. So even the fact that I have a barky puppy and I remind myself, yes, I must, this is a practice I must do, is find a way of having that not happen in my future Zooms, especially since I'll be hoping to attend everybody's session, and that if I, for some reason, cannot, I'll be asking someone to step into a tech support role and ensuring that everybody's session gets the support that they need. And I did make a request at our last get together that we do arrive 10 minutes early for our sessions, and that I'll be there. That's my plan, is to be there 10 minutes ahead with you, so that we can just have a quick check-in and share some gratitudes and whatever's alive, and any questions and tech support that you might need. So to plan for that, to remember that, and please email me if there's anything in advance of Friday or in advance of your session that you would like. Can I just get a show of hands? Are you coming on Friday night to the opening circle? Feeling absolutely delighted about that. I've got a lot of joy here that Lisa Mitchell and Georgia Shine are bringing the song The Way Knows the Way, which is, if you have not heard it, it's on the website, the Wise Women Rising website, on the homepage. And it's a big video on the top of the homepage, and I highly recommend having a listen, because we're going to give that song a go when we get together on Friday night. And I think that they'll also be just leading us in self-expression. There's a video that Georgia did for us when I had a Zoom with the two of them talking about the opening circle. And Georgia spoke really beautifully about giving ourselves permission, giving our voices permission. And that's, for some of us, singing is one of those areas where we can feel a bit reserved. And certainly for me, that's been a big thing. Reclaiming my singing voice, because having had teachers in primary school that told me that I couldn't sing and I should be quiet. That sort of the impact of that, and then having a sense of reclaiming of our voices and bringing precious work to the world is a very similar experience for me. It's like there's that tenderness of almost like protectiveness of, this is so true for me, this is so vulnerable for me, and there's a courage and a reclaiming that happens as we step into it, is my experience of it. So I would like to open up the room now to hear any questions or any aliveness. And the way I'm imagining we do this is if you bring yourself off mute, and maybe, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just sort of thinking how we can navigate helping hold the space together. I'm just going to trust that we can do this without needing too much instruction about it. Just if there's aliveness, please unmute and jump in, and let's see how we can support each other.
I was wondering about numbers. How many people have enrolled at this stage?
Yeah, thank you. The last check was over 50. So we have over 50 attendees in terms of not only the facilitators, but now they've started inviting a couple of friends. And as the boosted posts are happening, I'm getting a little bit of feedback about, wow, this looks amazing, and like some comments and stuff from people. So just know that you're really having an impact as a collective, and that it's landing in an exciting way.
Heal.
Good boy.
Can I ask a question, Karen?
Yeah.
Should we, are we okay to post the event on our Facebook pages, or do you still want to keep the numbers contained? How do you feel? What's your feeling about that?
I'm so glad you asked. My initial thought was, let's let it grow organically. There's such a lovely vibration, or such a lovely energy in the group of facilitators, and there's already enough numbers in a number of the sessions. I'm actually wanting to have that conversation with you, Jennifer, about how do we it's full, like we don't want to necessarily get any more enrollments in that flow games, because we've got 2 facilitators now for that, to be able to break out to hopefully have everyone participate in a session. Look, I think this is a good learning edge for me. I haven't got a definitive answer. There's a part of me saying just perhaps hand select as
Yeah.
opposed to open blasts on Facebook. I think what's happening for me now is a recognition that the boosted posts that I'm doing, I'm going to minimize them down to just so make sure that all of us are seeing each other's boosts and like a small community of people are seeing it. Not that it's going out, like my boosts apparently are reaching up to 370 people a day with each post. And so I'm thinking, I think that's about the minimum I can do. But anyway, I'll revisit that. What's alive for you, Kat, about it? What do you think?
Well, the reason I asked is because if you're doing boosted posts, is that, I'm curious because I'm not entirely sure what that actually means, because if all of us, if you've got say 20 facilitators, if all of us were to promote the event in future, or if all of us were to in future for say the next forum, that would mean you wouldn't have to do boosted posts because everyone would have put it on their pages, and you'd probably get a similar mindset to each person that's, you know, on the Facebook page. So I'm curious as to why you're boosting the posts to 300 people. Like there's probably something I don't understand. Like what's the
yeah, that's great that you asked. Yeah, thank you. So it had two purposes. One was that I was hopeful of each of you feeling my appreciation for you, and that is that I'm wanting to support you and your work. I'm wanting you to be seen in what you're doing. And one of the values of the community is to support each other, to feel seen and known for bringing our precious work. So that was part of it. The other was that I was imagining that the way that I targeted the boost was only to women 35 plus, and only to women 35 plus who were in some way interested in things like social enterprise, interested in things like purpose. So I really targeted down to women that I thought would be resonant with what we're doing, because I actually cared that if women are out there that were like me and felt really isolated and didn't know that there was a community of women doing this and creating a community of practice to learn how to share your precious work, like I want to reach those women. I want them to know that we exist, to be able to support them. So I'm holding organic growth as a really precious thing, and I really do think that amongst our networks we probably would well over with attendees. We were all, you know, letting our page, our connections, our women connections know that this is happening. And I think that there's actually a fullness already here, so much so that I would maybe reserve boosting any more posts after this meeting, and that I feel a bit of sadness about that. But I actually feel we're sort of resonating, and we're already going to get a couple of extras from people that we invite personally to come. So I'm telling myself that we're really almost at a threshold where we have the community for this retreat. So I'm in holding something precious about that. Could I hear from a few more people? Because that would really help me right now.
It's helpful to know who you included in the, you know, the criteria that you used to boost it to.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if in the kind of organic, emergent way that it's perhaps a decision that doesn't need to be made today, more watch and see what is calling and then meet that.
Oh, thanks. I just get a big breath in my heart of ease. And the other thing that just, as you gave me that empathy, what softened in me was it's not that I have to stop people from coming. It's more that we need to name those sessions that are full and cannot take any more. So actually what I just got connected to was, thank you, Shez, for the empathy, is that there's still room. There's still room to receive, and that there's also a respect. I want to honour those rooms where there's already a limit been reached. So that's where I'll put my attention for the next day or so, is how do we do that? How do we let women know that some sessions are now getting full?
And Karen, can I just confirm, what does full mean? Is there a number that I wasn't able to attend last Monday, so maybe that was discussed then?
Oh yes, thanks for asking. Look, for some people there isn't a limit on the rooms. So for some people there can be an unlimited number of attendees, but for some, the nature of the presentation, for example, with Flow Game, each person in the game is given a playing piece and is invited into a process. And then each voice around that game is important to the overall how the game works. So to have observers in that context is not really fitting. So to be able to take care of everyone, we're at maximum because we've got already, I think, 15. So we're needing to, like, that's, you know, eight or so in each room. That's really capacity for this sort of setting, even though the sessions are 2.5 hours or 3.5 hours, that it allows for the space for each player. So that's the session I'm particularly thinking of. But yeah, Shez, back to you.
I was just thinking that with Death Cafe, you know, I could potentially have a circle of 15, or I could have another facilitator or two and have, you know, 3 rooms of 8 or yeah.
That has crossed my mind, and I know that you're in the position of perhaps resourcing your session with a couple of extra facilitators if needed. And that could also be a strategy if the room numbers start to get up there and you're wanting some support. But it depends on the content again.
It depends on the you know, each of us who is offering a session. It's like, I was going to say, what am I comfortable with, or what am I willing to stretch to?
I wonder whether it's worth each of us sending you a little message, Karen, as to what each of us feel as a limit, because clearly listening even just to those 2 examples, there's different limits, and with Ches, if she then has brings on someone or whatever. So each of us let you know our limitations isn't a good word, but, you know, our abundant cup, and then maybe there's a little magical way that for say with mine, it hits that number, and then somehow you can write on there, you know, this session's full. Because when we looked the other night, you did the screen share, a lot of and that was a few days ago, so it's probably changed already. There were a lot that were quite full, but there are a number that weren't. We want to encourage
support for those sessions.
We do.
Yeah. So. Absolutely. Thank you, Jane. And the thing that comes up as you share is just, it's like, I would love to invite us into a 2-way support around this, because as much as, like I was explaining, I think in one of the last get-togethers, that I purchased the level of SCHED, the software system that's running our schedule for us, at $250 American, and the next level up, which is where I could start to set limits on the room number, was like $700 US, and I was just like, oh no, like we're in pilot mode. I want to just, you know, trust that we can navigate this. And so my request is, because that's why I asked originally on your enrollment application paperwork online, was, you know, what was your room limit preference? And so I have got a sense of that from everyone from answering those questions, but sadly I didn't realize that I would need to go like, wow, into the next category of finances to be able to do that from a system point of view. And, you know, it could be something that we do in the future that certainly is an option, but it's not where we are just yet. So I'm really grateful for the clarity that's coming about this. And I think it is a self-responsibility, as well as like, please, engage me in this conversation for your particular needs. If you have needs around limits or room size as you watch your registration grow, please do get in touch with me to talk about it. The other thing that comes up out of this is messaging your attendees around these sorts of, not only the sort of the size of the session that you're hosting, but also then what do your participants need? And that was part of the reason for boosting as well, is that I wanted the people that were coming to your session to really get connected to what you're asking them if you have a prerequisite. Like for the storytelling, I would like women to know in advance what the theme is and feel a bit more connected to it, so they can bring a story to storytelling that, that is, they're a bit more connected to that, rather than find themselves turning up to the session and realizing, oh, I didn't get to do any pre-thinking about this. So
all that info is on Kate's page, though.
It is on Kate's session, and that's what I'm double checking that everyone has, if there are prerequisites for your session, or you would like your attendees to do any preparation work, that you've asked them to do that specifically in your session description. And as well, my recommendation is that you use the software to message your attendees in the 24 hours prior, and that you do that as a courtesy anyway to your attendees, regardless of whether you have preparation to do with them, is to actually just touch base.
Can you do a demo of that now?
Oh, yes, I could. Yes, I could.
I don't know. Would that be useful to anyone else?
Would you like to see? Okay, let's do that.
I didn't know that was possible. So.
Yeah. Okay. So it's in the back of Shared. So, for example, when you log in, you don't necessarily see all of the back end of all of the sessions. But let me just do a refresh on this. These are all the session attendees coming in. So let's just see what the actual numbers are looking like now. So we've got 11 for storytelling and 9 for body love. 15 for flow game. We really do need to put a note on there today, Jennifer. That's something I really want to do with you after this meeting, if we can. That'd be great.
Yep.
So, we're getting 8, 10, 7, 8, 12. There's enough in every session now that I can see that we all get to have the experience of being heard, and we all get the experience of practicing our work with a supportive room. So I'm absolutely thrilled. I feel like we've arrived at a place in the retreat's sustainable meeting its purpose that I feel really thrilled about. So I'll go down here to the session that I'm offering on the beings of the well. And I open up my window. This is what you'll do when you go back in. And do you know how to get to the back end of your sessions? Can I just get a show of? No? Okay, so let me go back a step. When you come into Shared, let me just open it up at the go to here. So when you go to the program, if you've signed in recently, you will see it takes a minute to load because the extra app is embedded in the website. So you would just be patient with it for a minute. Seems that it's taking a moment. Okay, so when you first come into the schedule, if you're logged in, you'll see a little line here where my cursor is. You're speaking at this event, manage and promote your session. So you'll come to the schedule. If you're already logged in, you'll get that button to push. And if you're not logged in, it will say log in or sign up.
Okay.
So if you're not logged in, come back to wisewomenrising.com.au/retreat-program. Come back to that page on the website. See if you're logged in or not. If you're not, log in and you'll get this button, manage and promote your session. So does that help? Yep. All right. Excellent. So I've just done that. And I'm logged in at the front end. So I'm only seeing what I'm presenting according to the schedule. And so I'll go to my session. And this will take me back to the page where I was by clicking edit. Is that all making sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you come into your session and you find the edit button next to the name of your session. All right, now we're back in the same page that I was at once it loads. So here we go. I was going to say it knows I'm also hosting, so it's going to take me to pages that you guys don't have to navigate, so that's fine. But here we are. This is what will open when you hit the edit button. And then you'll have an overview here, the description that you either gave me to put in or that you've put in by yourselves. You'll have an edit button where you can make any changes to your description, add any last minute notes. So if you want to make some changes, it'll show you your attendees list. And you can message individuals in your attendees list. And you can also go to message and sending to all those attending 10 people.
Cool.
So then, yeah, the subject's already in there because that's the that's automatic, and then you just add your message
And send.
And does that work the same if you just choose one person?
I believe so. Yes. So what
So you've got a drop down on center. You've got a drop down.
I do. Yeah. So it could be attending and waitlisted, but that's unusual. I hadn't seen that. That's interesting. Let me see.
If you go back to the attendees and then hover, can you just
if I click
communicate with
actions, if I just wanted to send a message to Jeanette, oh no, that's a withdrawal.
Go to the right-hand side
Click on
of Dinesh. Yep.
Yeah.
If I go edit though.
What about if you tick Dinesh and then?
So we're at 55 attendees. That's
Well done.
Up a little too. Okay, so
message. Oh, it was just there. Sorry.
Thank you. Let me go back. Do you remember what I did, Jane?
Probably not, but I reckon I could baffle. All right, pick Lucy just then, the second girl.
Oh, Jeanette, that's where we were.
Message, yeah.
Message, yes. So
And
I can
just
send
beautiful.
Do it individually.
Yeah.
Lovely. Karen, I noticed some of my potential attendees were private. Will they still have that access?
That's a really good point, Jennifer. And this is something I'm in my learning edge about as well. I actually asked everyone I sent invitations to, because once our program was full, I started sending messages to friends like, oh, come and register, it's going to be awesome. And in that I put, here's a link for you, come through, pop a profile photo up for us so we know who's coming and we can connect to who's coming. And then would you be willing to put a little description of you so we know a little bit about you so we can, have a sense of who's coming. And I've been surprised, honestly, by the number of people who've come to the sign-ups who have chosen not to do that. And I can also respect that the system wants to support privacy choices as well. Like perhaps we don't want to give all our details or be able to be messaged, or people have had a lot of pain around, I'm going to say, poor marketing choices in the history of how people promote hard. And so I'm just living with the fact, sadly, that there's not much I can do about that. I can't even reach them by message to say, would you be willing to see if there's any, but I did actually ask that question to the scared people, and I've got people signing up who have blocked, you know, organizer messages and blocked, you know, their profile and stuff. I'm concerned. Like, I actually had, at one point I had to give myself empathy for some fear, because I had a friend of mine who had a Zoom bomb happen where a group of young people jumped into a Zoom call of his. He was working with his group of students in a Zoom call, but he'd put the Zoom link on Facebook.
Yeah, no, that's Karen. Just
Yeah.
I forgot.
So I've white lighted our rooms as best I could. I'm holding a space if that's not going to happen to us, because I haven't promoted the Zoom link anywhere. It's in our. It's only when you've registered that you can access the room and the Zoom.
Okay. So I'll have a play, and if I've got any problems, I'll come back to you.
Yeah, thanks. And maybe bring it on Wednesday night if you're able. Just that if there's updates, then we can update each other, and I can record them on Wednesday night, and that way we can keep across everything together. That'd be awesome. Thank you. Yeah, Shez.
About registering, when people register for the event, like attendees, are you saying that there's no request for their email address in that registration process?
No, there is, and they need their email address inputted to be able to sign up. However, they can, as an option when they're signing in, block organizer messages, which means I don't get their email address, and they can block messages from the host of their session.
Can you remove that?
I spoke to Shed about it. I actually said, like, I'd really love for people to put their photos up, and I'm not feeling
No, not the photo, just the email contact. I mean, for me, if I was asked as an attendee to put up my profile, it's a piece of work. It's like, I don't have time. I just want to attend the session, go away, would be my, you know, immediate time poor reaction. Unless I saw it as a particular opportunity to promote myself, I would not do that. But taking it and blocking everything is a whole nother step. Anyway, I'm just curious about it. I don't want to take up all the time.
Yeah, no, I'm curious about it too. And from Shed's point of view, they really want to honour people's privacy choice. And I'm like, I can honour that. And at the same time, I'd like to be able to honour the community that we have choice to really just want to invite people who are willing to spend that extra 5 minutes, even if they don't want to put a photo. They can put a photo of their puppy dog, or, you know, that, but in some way introduce themselves to us. That feels precious to me, but there was nothing that Shed could do for me. They just said that's how it was. And I was like, okay.
So Karen, I just want to get clear. So are you saying there are people attending sessions that we cannot contact?
There are people attending sessions. Let me just show you. There are people attending sessions. Oh, hang on, I didn't screen share first. I'll show you an example of it. And does someone else want to ask their question? Because I saw a few questions starting. Lucy, do you want to ask your question while I open up?
Sure. I think mine is more of a comment, because I know a few people are booking in, but they're not necessarily going to show up, because I've had that experience that I've had, like a workshop, and because it was free, people thought it was, yeah, that's good. They thought they could do it. They registered, but then didn't turn up. So, so I had about, one case, almost 500 people register, but only about 200 turned up, which was fine, because it was a lot easier to manage. But I think that's something to keep in mind if you're limiting the number of people, because you might have 15, but I don't know, maybe only 10 will turn up. I don't know. So that's
that's a really, really good point. Thank you.
So maybe there's a wait list or something like that. So if we do go to people 24 hours before and ask them to confirm their attendance, and then they say no, then maybe we can go to the wait list and say we've got space for you. Or I don't know if that's possible.
I really am enjoying the reminder that there, even though there is a request about, if you're going from the facilitators point of view, there's a request to all facilitators that if you're marking up other sessions that you're wanting to go to, if your plans change, it would be really honourable, my request and a gift, to go back to that session if you can't attend and let the person know by unclicking it. And as facilitators, we can hold each other with care that way because we're much more involved. But my sense is that general public, you're so right. Those women who are just coming for the first time and getting to know us, they haven't got the same level of care and sort of updating us. They're not necessarily, if they've changed their plan. So really, I do imagine that, Lucy, let's have a look at yours. So if we go to your, oh, these are your ones that you're going to, hang on a sec, we'll go to your session.
Karen, will there be a little reminder, like is part of your system, this shared system, or communication to each attendee before every single session? Or is that more our responsibility to perhaps send a warm and fuzzy reminder, you know, the day before or the morning of or whatever? You know, because I know with online things, because this doesn't, from what I've seen, you know, when you have a booking, a Zoom meeting, and then it goes into your calendar, and then you don't have to think about it because it pops up and it blocks your time and it just comes up on your phone or your computer. If that doesn't happen, it's really easy to accidentally miss things. Like for all of us, it's super duper important because we're all involved. But accidents happen and real life happens. So is there a like a little reminder system, or I don't know? Yeah.
Thank you for asking. And it is a really precious to me that we touch base with our attendees beforehand. And part of the reason for bringing the attention to the messaging function is to ask for that support. I have a list of all the attendees in the back, and what I was planning to do 24 hours ahead on Thursday was to send an email out to everyone who's attending to just let everyone know, you know, my delight and my enthusiasm for everyone's support and gratitude, and like remind everybody that the festival, that this 10-day online retreat is about to start. But each session themselves will need to take responsibility for doing that for their individual session. So I'll be reminding everybody as a general email blast, and then during the retreat I'll be doing the same. I'll be sending general email blasts, but possibly not every day, but maybe every second day, just to say we're having a lovely time and hope you get to attend the sessions you've booked for and all those sorts of lovely things. But it'll be from the whole retreat, not from your session. So I really do encourage you to use the messaging function in your session 24 hours before, and even like an hour before, as a little reminder. That would be how a lot of the automatic systems work, is that they give a 24-hour reminder and a 1 hour to go reminder. So I do encourage everyone to consider that. And you may want to make that, you know, a way of beginning to connect and reminding people about what you're asking of them, inspiring them about the theme of what you're working with, all that sort of stuff. So, and then it becomes you know, you're owning it, as well as, you know, you're holding your session inside the bigger context is really a gift to me. All right, so I'm back with Louis. It's the Louis and Karen Wrestling Show. I'm going to just come back to Lucy's page inside the screen share that I've got open, and just to be able to show you whether or not if people have blocked themselves. So for an example here, we have a name and we have an email address, but we have no photo. They're fantastic, they're fine. And it looks like everyone in your group actually is the same. You've got a couple of missing photos, but you've got email addresses. So you can, Lucy, be able to message everyone in your session. I would recommend that you go today and have a look in the back end of your session check that you've got a similar situation going on. And if you've got any questions at all, please do reach out. If you've got a couple of people that you can't seem to message, please let me know, because I am willing to go back to SCED and say to them, look, we really need help with this. It's not working for us as a community.
Karen, do you have the complete attendees list there?
I have in the back a list of, with all
Because
of,
I reckon, I'm wondering if all the attendees' emails might be there, even though they haven't chosen to put up a picture. Because it seems to me that's almost been put in as a default. So I reckon if you just ran your eye past all those, they all seem to have an email to me.
it does look like it. It
So I
does
wonder
look
if it has
like it,
been.
but that doesn't mean that you've got them in your session, because I'm in the back end, which is where all the sign up is actually. So I've got it as a copy of everyone's login details. I'm not sure in your session. So would you be willing to check?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just saying that what it means, we've got a solution to accessing people to send them the reminders.
That's true. We do. And, you know, I'm worried about then crossing a line if they've asked not to be messaged. So it's like, it's great to have this conversation. I would like us to be in our own integrity, honouring people's privacy choices and holding with care like how we navigate it. So thanks for bringing it up. Kate, did you have something?
I did. I've just been looking in the back end. We don't get the same access you do. And so when I look at my session and it says email attendees, it just goes to a blank email box, and you send that out. And when I look at the list of attendees, I can download an Excel spreadsheet of them, but it doesn't give me their email. So we won't be able to know if I can't see if they've said they don't want to be contacted. I've got no idea. There's 50 people, and some of them have got
checking. Thank you. That's really helpful, Kate. So what that's telling me is that you don't get access to their email addresses. You can just message them all based on So it's the best we can do. It's the best we can do right now, and it's honouring the choice of privacy if people have made it that way. So they're only just going to impact their own experience of your session. Like ultimately, if they don't get a reminder and they forget, they don't get to enjoy your session. And if they don't get a reminder of what they need to prepare for your session, and they turn up and they are not prepared for your session, then it's on them really at the end of the day. Like they're not going to get to the joy of fully enjoying what you're offering. So, I also have a sense that we're doing our very best to hold with care the people that are attending our sessions, and that if we can do what we can do, then we're going to improve the potential that people will get across. They'll get connected, they'll do the preparation, and they'll show up for you in the way that you would most enjoy. That's what I'm trusting, that the majority will do that. And certainly my sense is in the community that's supporting, and the attendees that have already the majority of the attendees that are showing up, everyone's putting up their picture and getting excited and putting in their description and that's the majority. So let's just run with the majority energy on this, I think, for now, and see. But please do contact me if you have any concerns. Thanks, Jennifer. Yes, Lucy, back to you.
I just wanted to say that it may very well be that we can email them via the automatic system. It's just simply that we don't get to see what that email is. So the system that is I don't know, owned or operated by Shed, I think is that the name of the system. So they facilitate the messaging, but we just simply don't have access to people's individual addresses. Like we don't see that. So, and if that's the case, then it may be that we can email them. We just don't know what their
address is for.
And I think I noticed on your when you did the little trial thing that it said respond to, and it had your email address. I'm assuming it will have the same for each one of us. So maybe we ask people to email us to respond, and then we know.
Yeah, that's a really nice idea. You could engage them in a question and answer. You can
Yeah.
even ask your session attendees something and have them respond to you. That way you're directly getting, that message back. I am precious about finishing as close to agreed time as possible. So I just want to name it's 1:05 and that we're now a little bit over time. Is there any checkouts that, in terms of questions, that you would like me to be aware of before we just do a quick checkout round at this stage? Okay, thanks so much. I really feel like today's been a really effective, supportive, it's really built clarity, and I'm really enjoying that engagement and support for having our attendees have the same quality of experience that we would want for them. So I'm really, really grateful. I would love to hear like two, 3 words, short sentences from everyone, just to hear a checkout. Maybe anything you're celebrating now from having attended the meeting, or a message of support for your fellow attendees or for your fellow facilitators. I'm really talking about facilitators.
Could I just ask a question? So Wednesday, we're having
Wednesday night, 6:30, we're having another one. So if there's any last minute check-in questions, or just you want to hang out in the community and remember the sense of enjoyment that is building around what we're doing together, then yes, 6:30 on Wednesday is the next one.
Right.
That'll be the last one before opening circle on Friday. I want to tell you that Sandy McDonald's session at 10:30 on Friday has been a shift in the schedule to early, we now have a first session at 10:30 on Friday. That session's happening before Samantha Rennie's. I see Sam's dropped out, but Sam's session's also on Friday. So just to share, there's these lovely sessions prior to opening circle on Friday. All right. I'll pass to you, Jennifer, because you seem to be on my left or right most times when you turn up in Zoom. I'm just going to pass to you and let it be that. Quick checkout.
Gorgeous. Okay, so I actually want to say gratitude around the way Karen has been holding us and holding this piece of work. I've been really appreciative of the thought and care that's gone into that. And I'm feeling excitement and a sense of build, which is just delightful. And I'm going to pass to Irene.
Thanks, Jennifer. I was going to say in awe of your confidence and skill, Karen, and thank you for that. And it's getting to be exciting. Thank you.
I'll pass to you, Jane.
I would also thank Karen for, it's a really big thing to coordinate. So it's really lovely. It's very exciting. I'm looking forward to it as well. And it's been lovely each little session I've attended to get to know some of you girls too. So it just adds to the whole experience. So thank you. And I'll hand to Cheryl.
Would you be, thanks, Cheryl.
Yeah, the screen tells me. I'm just really grateful for the holding space and all the preparation, and Karen, the joy you bring when you introduce these sessions and talk to us is just a delight. So thank you.
Maybe to you, Helen, if you'd be willing.
Sure, thank you. I ditto with everyone else's comments about the work you're putting in and the energy. Karen is amazing. I'm really impressed so far with the sched. There might be some limitations, but I think it's been a wise choice. Pardon the pun. And I can feel. I wasn't involved last week at all, and I can feel the momentum now, having it been a couple of weeks amongst the group, and the energy and the excitement. So it's like, what's only this Friday? Anyway, very exciting. I will move to Lucy. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm really grateful, Karen, for all the work that you've done. Honestly, it's just amazing, and it's a massive undertaking. it's over 10 days of scheduling and handling all these speakers and facilitators and attendees. It's just massive. So I really appreciate you taking the time to do all this and bringing us together. And I appreciate the opportunity to, you know, to kind of share the work and meet new people and that sense of community that I'm feeling after, like you, Karen, you said you felt that sense of isolation. And yeah, and for me, especially in the last 3 or 4 months, you know, just being cut off from your normal sort of networks and all that kind of thing, it just brings a new perspective or a new line of connection. You know, I think that's yeah, it's just, yeah, I'm really appreciative of all of that and all of you. So I look forward to attending as many as I can. So thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy, so much. Shez, can we come back to you?
Yeah, this is the most people that have been on a call that I've been on, so that sense of community is present and alive and delightful. And yeah, your skill, Karen, in the whole tech end and just the concept of having this happen. And there is a question from me about the complimentary event, the free thing, and remembering us piece about pay as you feel, and I would like to flag that as a discussion item for next time as to how we as, yeah, just how we're going to bring that up in the whole process in terms of
Thank you. That's so kind of you. I'm holding it very lightly. I actually, after our conversation the other day, and you brought this up with me, I put a button to contribute right down the bottom of the schedule, and I put a little note that just says, you know, this is being offered freely and open-heartedly, and if you're enjoying value from these amazing sessions and you would like to support Wise Women Rising and Flourishing, please feel welcome to contribute from an amount from your heart, and that there are suggested offering levels of like $15 or $30, and you can also choose your own amount. So I added that button to the bottom of the schedule, but it's very discreet because I actually don't want that to be a big loud horn. It's not what it's about for me. I think if anything, I might include a little bit about that in the blasts that I send during the week. So if I'm sending out like 3 or 4 main emails for the week, well, to just sort of, how are you going? Are you getting lots of fun? Are you enjoying everything that you're going to? And so on. I could add a little piece about that and a click through. But since I put that on the website just like 2 days ago over the weekend, I've had a donation of $15, which is just like, oh, I just love that. It came from nowhere. Like, I don't know the person. She's just seen it on the website and put $15 in. I'm just like, oh. So, you know, I'm just going to trust that side of it too. Like the schedule, $2.50 US and like $1.50 a boost. Like, it's not a huge amount of money. It was more about like wanting to hold the container to have this flourish, and that I trust actually that as a community we'll be able to hold those expenses, like $15, $30 each, and it would be covered really. So, you know, yeah, thanks for bringing it up, and I'm realizing I'm talking on. Kate, can I just come to you to hear your checkout and then we can finish up?
Yep. Enormous gratitude to you, Karen, and just amazed at how, you know, so much work, and I'm so happy I'm not doing it, and I'm so happy to see that you are so happy doing it. That's like, oh, win-win. And I also I forgot to mention the other one, the other session that I'm hosting, and I think you wisely wanted, it's the storytelling one, and you wisely wanted that early in the program, because this is a very practical, you know, what we're doing here is lots of questions and very practical, but that ability for story sharing to really connect the community and bring heart into our connections through Zoom. Yeah, I really hope that as many of you can come to that, not because it's my session, but because I want to hear. And it's a great way of deepening that community. So that's my checkout.
Oh, wonderful that we end there. Thank you so much, Kate. I'm really grateful for all of your time. Thank you for going over a little bit, and I'll see you on Wednesday if I see you then. Otherwise, I'll see you at the opening circle. See you soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.